A smart young man named Jake Foley, who has always wanted to be a field agent, works as a tech support at the National Security Agency, eagerly helping anyone who requires assistance, and leaves with his co-worker and best friend, Darren. One day, Jake is called into the operations center for some support and quickly heads there to offer his expertise.
I'll have you up and running in 2.
Take your time. I'm due for a coffee break.
After finishing his task, Jake becomes distracted by the operation around him and becomes utterly fascinated.
Now, once we've confirmed Benikov's ID with satellite visuals, great, Mr. Foley. Now I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
That evening, Jake goes out to a club with Darren and spends a couple of hours having fun. Then, sensing Darren's plan to stay out all night, a tired Jake opts to head home. And as he proceeds to leave, he runs into old college friend Sarah.
Don't tell me this is your way of picking up the ladies?
No.
Determined not to waste this opportunity, Jake summons all his courage and proceeds to ask Sarah out. But he's interrupted by a few of her colleagues, who demand she join them at their table. Feeling awkward, Jake turns down her invitation to join the group and proceeds to leave.
You think you could come by my place and check on my computer? Something's not right.
The next day at work, Jake shares the events of the previous night with Darren, who excitedly gives him some advice.
I hate to break up the moment, ladies, but we got a server offline.
Jake follows the agent to the lab and once again becomes fascinated by what he sees.
Nobody reads programming code faster than you. What am I looking at here?
Then, to the utter horror of Jake, Dr. Gage shoots and kills the agent.
We have a problem. Jake Foley.
Jake pretends to follow the doctor's orders while discreetly sending an alert to the rest of the staff. Once everything settles down, an investigation into the shocking ordeal goes underway.
Can I get you anything? Do you want some water or some...
That evening, an exhausted Jake returns to his apartment and passes out. The next morning, Jake wakes up and is shocked to find that his wound has completely healed, with no trace of its existence ever. Then, Jake suddenly remembers the promise he made to fix Sarah's computer and rushes over to her apartment. Elsewhere, at the NSA, the agents continue investigating the incident and find a crucial lead.
Black market arms dealer with ties to the IRA operating out of Belfast.
Meanwhile, at Sarah's apartment, Sarah and Jake chat for a few minutes and get to know each other.
Well, I can tell you already you need a new mouse. These days it's all about the wireless.
While Sarah walks away to take the call, Jake starts working on her computer and is shocked to discover that he can now see all tiny computer circuits in great detail, which helps him discover the issue and fix it.
Oh my god! You fixed it! How did you do that?
The freaked out Jake rushes out of the apartment, and as he starts walking home through the park, he is shaken to the core by loud gunshot sounds he hears. Ducks down, but soon discovers that the sound is coming from a video game. Then, trying to calm himself, Jake continues walking until a ball hits him.
Over here, mister!
Then, unaware that Eric is surveilling him, Jake rushes to his office and heads to the lab, which requires a password to access. To his surprise, Jake somehow figures out the code, discreetly enters, copies the details of the project that had caused all the chaos, and leaves.
What are you doing down here?
Oh, I just wanted to follow up and make sure your server's running okay.
Jake then heads to his apartment to read the data and is shell-shocked to learn that the project deals with nanobots, which he has accidentally been infected with during the ordeal. As he keeps studying the material, everything starts to make sense as he learns that all of his new, curious abilities are a result of the enhancement provided by the nanobots. Overwhelmed with excitement, Jake spends the next couple of hours testing his new abilities and amusing himself by doing all the things he never could before. Elsewhere, at the NSA, Deputy Director Lou gets concerning news.
We got him before he managed to steal anything.
He's closer than you think. Brimming with excitement, Jake rushes to Sarah's apartment to share his discovery.
Peter, this is Jake. Jake, Peter.
Hi.
Masking his disappointment, Jake proceeds to leave the building and runs into Eric.
Are you really Jake?
I'm sorry. How do you know my name?
Using his super strength, Jake manages to defend himself well and escapes the ordeal. However, as he steps outside, he's abducted by NSA agents, who take him to the office for some tests.
See how the nanites have positioned themselves along his central nervous system?
Jake is then locked inside a cell as the deputy director tries to figure out how to deal with him.
We don't know how long this guy's gonna live, and we need to learn what we can while we can.
Jake uses his wit to escape, gets in a cab, and as he proceeds to flee the area, he receives a call from Sarah.
Remember when you stopped by the other night? Miss Neilmeyer and 3C saw two weird guys in the lobby.
We've got visual.
Jake manages to escape the men following him, but soon receives a shocking call.
Meet me at the Chem 9 research facility, midnight, alone.
Jake breaks into the research center and, using his new abilities, manages to safely make his way to Sarah, who's unconscious and tied up.
Millions of dollars in research and development, and the best they can come up with is you.
Jake then manages to tap into the computer controlling the nitrogen tank, activates it, and freezes Eric to death before rushing to check on Sarah.
We'll take care of it. We've been ordered to bring you in.
Later, Jake goes to Sarah's apartment to check on her. Soon, Jake starts training as a field agent, but fails to impress his bosses.
His breathing is normal for this level of exertion. His heart rate's 103.
One day, Jake goes to the control room and watches an ongoing operation with sheer fascination.
What's going on?
Tell Jahara, terror cell in Tunisia.
Later, while unpacking his stuff in his new apartment, Jake receives a call from Sarah, who offers to take him out to lunch the next day, and he delightfully accepts. Then, as he tries to control his excitement and continue with his task, Diane comes to check on him.
Do you want to come inside?
Yeah.
I haven't unpacked my glasses yet. I've kind of been drinking out of the faucet.
Using the nanites, Jake manages to fix the TV and spends the evening watching a show with Diane. The next morning, Jake follows Kyle around, trying to learn as much as he can from him.
We're the largest and most powerful intelligence agency in the world.
Desperate to prove his worth, Jake discreetly scans his surroundings, soon identifies a suspicious conversation, and ambushes a couple of men, only to disrupt another simulation.
I want you to step up. Okay, dig deeper.
But how could he have known this? Elsewhere, while the agents from the Sandstorm operation proceed to fly home with the device they have recovered, they are ambushed and killed by a steward who steals the device. At the NSA, despite being exhausted, Jake goes to the lab to practice his skills and becomes frustrated when he fails to mentally hack into a computer.
Take a break.
No, I'm fine. Let's go again.
Moments later, Kyle pulls Jake aside to give him a new mission.
Your objective is to stop her investigation.
What's this?
Recover.
Dreading his assignment, Jake goes to meet Sarah for lunch.
So how are things at work?
Oh, yeah. Same old, you know.
Later, Jake reunites with Kyle in his car, still disappointed by having to spy on Sarah.
It's not true. I know. I have a source.
Kyle and Jake rush to the scene and are horrified by what they see.
Now this one has a blast radius of approximately 2 miles.
As the team rushes out, Jake stays back in the control room and watches the operation start with great anticipation. Moments later, the team manages to locate the first signal, and Kyle ambushes a biker carrying a suspicious suitcase.
We have a problem.
There's no EMP, it's just a transmitter.
Jake follows his instinct, carefully starts searching the NSA building, and manages to find the bomb and Abdul.
Freeze! Federal agent!
After an intense and brutal fight, Jake contains the explosion in the vault, outwits and neutralizes Abdul, and saves the day. A few days later, Jake uses his special skills to find Sarah's location, runs as fast as he can to meet her there, and takes her out to lunch.
I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it, but you're just different.
That evening, on the other side of the city on his way home, a man is ambushed by armed men.
Glass is completely bulletproof. The body is a zinc alloy steel.
Give it to me.
The next day at work, Jake meets with Diane, who helps him practice controlling his skills.
I beat the game.
Yeah, you broke the machine.
Later, Kyle and Lou learn about the attack from the previous night.
Indicating possible Chinese involvement. How long since you've had contact with Mei Ling?
While Jake keeps a safe distance, Kyle meets with Mei Ling.
I'm prepared to offer you full asylum, 5 years expenses.
Once Lou gets on board, Kyle and Jake prepare for the mission, and Kyle briefs everyone.
Jake will interface with the security recording devices and rewind them 30 minutes.
Jake attends the party as a catering waiter, and after a nervy first few minutes, gets the hang of his task. However, just as he settles into his persona, he's shocked to run into Sarah.
Must be fate. So what are you doing here?
This can't end well. Meanwhile, while dancing with Kyle, Mei Ling discreetly gives him an access card.
He'll escort you to the catering truck and get you out of here.
While Mei Ling subtly exits the party, Kyle searches for Jake.
Jake, you can't afford to get distracted. You have a job to do.
Relieved by this, Jake reprograms the surveillance cameras so that Kyle can proceed inside undetected. Then, satisfied to have completed his part of the operation successfully, Jake proceeds to leave, but is shocked to see the catering van still parked outside, surmises what happened, and calls Lou.
Where's the driver?
Meanwhile, on the other side of the embassy, Lu's nightmare is realized, and Kyle is ambushed by Mei Ling and her fellow agents.
Unfortunately, you made the wrong choice.
At the NSA, chaos ensues as the team fails to reach Kyle.
I know how difficult that could be for you.
You could have gotten out.
Inside, hoping to save his life, Kyle reveals what really happened 2.5 years ago.
It's too late.
As Mei Ling leaves Kyle in the hands of a fellow agent who prepares to torture him. Outside, Jake proceeds to leave.
Here, Miss Kyle. He's in the basement.
Jake heads back inside, finds his way to the basement, and after an intense fight, neutralizes the agent torturing Kyle for information. He then rushes to Kyle's side to free him.
I can't see anything. You gotta trust me.
Jake frees Kyle, helps him up, and using his skills causes a distraction outside, which they use to find their way to the van. Moments later, to the sheer delight of everyone at the NSA, the duo flees the area safely. After driving for a couple of hours, Jake and Kyle take a break to hang out and get to know one another. A few days later, a man meets his shady clients in the middle of nowhere and demonstrates his newest product.
In that case, this device would prove extremely useful.
The next morning, at the NSA, Lou briefs everyone about a new case.
Microsimtex is 10 times more powerful than its namesake.
Jake heads to the studio to surveil Teresa, parks by the side of the road, and tries to pass the time until he realizes his meter has run out.
I'm gonna be right back.
I got it.
This is going quite in the opposite direction. Jake then accepts the invitation and joins Teresa at the studio.
So here I am talking on and on about myself.
Jake is then interrupted by Lou, who gives him an update about their case.
I think Mr. Alan Hergott can help us.
My sixth grade teacher?
Reluctantly, Jake heads to Teresa's apartment.
It's like it was painted quickly, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Unaware that he's being closely surveilled, Jake waits until Teresa leaves to get some paint and starts going through her mail.
I'm watching him now. I'll tell you what he's doing.
A few minutes later, Teresa returns, and the duo starts their task while getting to know each other.
My dad's an arms dealer.
I think he might have stumbled onto something.
Then, at the end of the night, Teresa informs Jake that the painting needs to dry overnight before the restoration begins, and invites him to return the next evening. The next day, Jake meets with his team at work and discusses details of the case.
I believe Carano's going to be meeting his buyers somewhere in this vicinity.
Despite his reluctance to get more involved, Jake follows the orders and heads to Teresa's apartment and is surprised to learn that she has cooked dinner for him.
Tell me if it's too spicy.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah?
Okay.
Then, while dancing with Teresa, Jake accesses her phone, finds her father's number, and, after making an excuse, leaves the apartment to head back to the office to give his team an update.
She has a cell phone in her speed dial, so when the calls came in, it said Papa.
A few hours later, in San Salvador, NSA agents surveil Carano and see him exiting with his entourage.
So far, they're no-show.
Maybe this isn't the handoff. Maybe they're just transferring the syntax.
The agents ambush Carano and his men and open fire. Soon, a brutal gunfight ensues, leaving many of the criminals, including Carano, dead and a couple of agents injured.
Peter, what's going on? Peter, what's happening?
Jake starts compiling a report. He spends the whole night going through every piece of information the agency has on Carano, mentally replaying every conversation he's had with Teresa, and combing through everything that happened during the ambush. After hours of exhausting, hard work, Jake finishes his thorough report, submits it to Lou, and after getting permission to see Teresa one last time, Jake heads to her apartment in the morning.
Father, he's been selling some very dangerous explosives to a terrorist group. I used you to help him track him.
Why in the world would you share this, Jake? The next day, Teresa and her team head to an airstrip where they await the plane carrying the late Mr. Carano's remains.
Sorry about what happened to your dad.
Then, as Teresa proceeds to pay her respects, Jake steps up and drops a bombshell.
Turns out you were watching me, playing me from the minute you put that quarter in the meter.
I got it.
Right along with dear old dead fake dad. Am I warm?
Then, as the men proceed to attack Jake, the NSA agents who have disguised themselves as the staff react quickly and open fire, while Jake runs after Teresa, who attempts to drive away and neutralizes her. Later, after everything settles down, Jake finishes up his reports and proceeds to leave work.
Where are you from, anyway?
Bar Harbor, Maine.
Jake heads home, and after reflecting on the chaotic events of the day, which remind him that he needs to go after what he wants, he starts drafting a message confessing his feelings for Sarah. A couple of days later, a man hacks into the Federal Reserve System and steals $2 million.
$1.5 million. Stop them.
$2 million from the man. Priceless.
Meanwhile, a frustrated Jake, who had learned that he can't afford to get his car fixed, arrives at work, complaining about his low salary and is informed of the robbery.
B, eventually they're going to give you a company car.
What? Really? What?
Determined to figure out the hacker, Jake spends the next day playing the game without even a wink of sleep.
We've got him.
Thank God.
Jake quickly intervenes and, to the surprise of Dumont, manages to abort the erasure.
How do you do that? That's your tax dollars at work.
Then, after gathering more information, Kyle and Jake approach Lou to discuss the update.
Recruited to write software for Banatech. 6 months in, he quits.
Jake manages to convince Lou to get on board, and Kyle prepares him for his toughest assignment yet.
Caltech for my master's, doctorate at MIT, and did my thesis on heuristic algorithms.
After studying as much as he can about Dumont, Jake heads to Berlin to meet the rest of the group, but is unfortunately arrested by German intelligence as soon as he leaves the airport.
We know you robbed the American Federal Reserve.
We know you're working with at least 4 others.
Clearly, you're both evil geniuses.
Meanwhile, at the NSA, Kyle quietly observes Dumont, which unnerves him.
You know, it's because of people like you that I love the Patriot Act.
I hope you kissed him goodbye.
In Berlin, Bit and Clue take Jake to a popular nightclub, where he meets Yori and the ringleader MCP, and starts having fun with them.
Hey, here's to not spending 80 hours a week.
Later, while Jake dances with Yori, MCP gives him a heads up.
Dumont just got the word.
Awesome! Nice!
It's on now?
Jake heads off to the bathroom and calls Kyle with an update.
As a plane, I think that there's something big going on this time.
I don't know what game you're playing, Dumont, but I'm not interested.
What?
I'm doing it online for 6 months, okay? I don't need you to tell me I'm beautiful.
A few minutes later, MCP gathers all his team and prepares them to start their real mission.
Our target is Banatech.
My old stomping ground.
At the NSA seemingly changing his mind, Dumont asks to speak to Kyle in the name of cutting a deal, but as soon as Kyle enters the cell, he attacks him. Despite being taken by surprise, Kyle defends himself well, but Dumont manages to steal his phone in the process and sends a message to his crew. In Berlin, Jake acts swiftly and, using a secure link, sends the NSA a message informing them that the Banatech private charter is in danger.
Tower, this is Charter, November X-ray 74205.
Just fly by wires from bypass.
Elsewhere, during their flight, the Banatech pilots lose control of the plane as MCP takes control of it remotely and panics, wondering what's going on.
You weren't brought here to hold that plane hostage. You were brought here to crash it.
He's lying.
Then, to the shock of everyone, MCP shoots Clue and continues to threaten the rest of the crew.
As a hacker and a social engineer, she'll never be a player.
Yuri quickly reacts and enters the code Jake had already set up, while Jake attacks MCP and sends him flying with his super strength. Then, to everyone's relief, the pilots regain control of the plane and manage to land safely. Soon, the German intelligence swarm the place and arrest the hackers.
My real name is Rachel.
Jake returns home, and as he heads into work the next day, he gets a message warning him that the last thing he will see is the Death Owl.
How was Berlin, Jake? It's me.
How did Dumont manage to do that? One morning, Diane heads into work and is shocked out of her mind to find one of the lab mice named Antonio completely paralyzed. Trembling with fear, Diane calls Jake to check on him and becomes terrified when he fails to answer his phone.
Jake, wait, you're okay?
Yes, I'm fine. What are you doing here?
Later, Lou heads to the lab to get an update on the situation from Diane.
It was my fault, but there is more to this story.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jake, who's planning to go to Seattle for his friend's wedding, calls Sarah from his desk and, after arranging his flight and hotel reservation with her, agrees to share a cab to the airport.
How could this come as a surprise? I put my request into Human Resources 3 weeks ago.
Later, while waiting for Sarah to pick him up, hoping to finally tell her how he feels about her and ask her out, Jake practices his speech but is soon disappointed to see Sarah arrive with her date, Alex. Jake arrives in Seattle and meets with the groom, Kevin.
I swear I've been meeting relatives I didn't even know existed.
Jen, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Suddenly, Jake notices a man staring at him from a distance and becomes concerned.
Yep, having fun.
Later, Jake proceeds to return to his room and becomes annoyed to overhear Sarah and Alex having fun from their room. While Jake tries to drown out this sound, he receives a call from Diane.
Diane, you're monitoring me at a wedding.
I'm sorry, Jake. It's my job.
The next morning, Jake is awakened by a knock on his door, answers it, and is surprised to see Diane on the other side.
I can't believe you flew all the way out here.
Yeah.
Jake and Diane go to breakfast together and enjoy each other's company.
I don't think you can eat this.
What? Why not?
Jake joins the men and goes to play paintball, while Diane is soon whisked away to the hotel spa by Jenny's mother.
Petty's one of life's greatest pleasures. I'm a virgin.
Meanwhile, at the paintball game, Jake notices one of the players following him and becomes furious when he starts shooting him with a real gun.
I think you gotta turn down your pressure a little bit. What's the matter, Jake?
Later, the men return to the hotel, and after cleaning up, Jake proceeds to join the wedding and runs into the mysterious man.
No, I had you until that jump. Where'd you learn how to do that?
Jake discreetly breaks into the man's hotel room and is shocked out of his mind to find it full of his pictures and plans on how to steal the Nanobot project.
Alpha Charlie Tango 4271.
As soon as the wedding ceremony finishes, to everyone's shock and confusion, Jake runs off, desperately trying to get away from the mysterious man who chases him around the hotel.
Not worth the fight, Jake.
Meanwhile, Fran calls Diane to give her an update.
On his brain, Antonio had a massive cluster of nanites in his frontal lobe.
While Jake continues to run away as fast as he can, a concerned Diane searches for him everywhere before heading to his room.
Foley was seen on security camera breaking into one of the rooms.
What? Why?
A few minutes later, Diane finds a terrified Jake, whose body has started shutting down, crawling to her door. Diane helps Jake inside and puts him on the bed.
No, this is all in your mind. The nanites are rejecting you. They are overloading your brain with electrical impulses.
Hoping to show him what she means, Diane shows Jake security cameras from the hotel corridors. Jake then starts convulsing and, to the utter terror of Diane, flatlines. Heartbroken that her worst fear is realized, Diane cries out in sheer pain and regret, apologizing to Jake. Luckily, a few minutes later, to the sheer joy of Diane, Jake wakes up. After taking a few minutes to calm down, hoping to be there for Kevin, Jake opts to join the wedding reception, while Diane updates Lou.
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning and he's fine. I overreacted as usual.
Jake then delivers a heartwarming speech that delights Kevin and Jenny.
We're lucky if we're able to find someone who is always there for us.
Touched by the speech, Sarah comes up to Jake to congratulate him.
Alex is gay. He's a friend. I just hate coming to these things alone.
Jake walks away from Sarah and approaches Diane. One day, Jake, Kyle, and a group of agents spread around a crowded metro station, keeping an eye out for suspicious behavior. And after a few minutes, Jake sees a man dumping a mysterious package into a trash can.
Stay sharp, Jake. It could be anyone.
Jake follows the man, catches up with him, tackles him down, and is shocked to see he's just a kid. Then, Kyle and Jake return to the office.
Today's incident was the work of Ethan Fulton's militia.
Later that evening, Jake returns home, is terrified to find his apartment door open, cautiously enters, and tackles down the intruder.
What are you doing here? Came to see you, of course.
Jake takes Jerry out to dinner at the local bar and hangs out with him.
Mom and Dad know you're here?
Jake, I keep Mom and Dad on a strictly need-to-know basis.
The duo returns home, and as Jake tries to get some rest, Jerry sets his kitchen on fire, which Jake spends hours trying to put out. The next morning, having only slept for a couple of hours, a cranky Jake reports to the lab and meets with Diane.
Says you saved my life.
Yeah.
The team then gathers to get an update on the case.
Ethan blames the government for the loss of his wife, and our capturing his son will not sit well.
Elsewhere, furious with his son's fate, Ethan questions his men to find out how the police got tipped.
Ethan, there is no excuse that is going to free my son.
Without even hesitating, Ethan shoots and kills the man on the spot. At the NSA, Jake approaches Caleb and tries to talk some sense into him.
Have you ever seen what ricin gas does to the human body? It's not too late. You can change your life.
Later, Jake returns to his apartment building and is annoyed to hear music blasting from his apartment.
You met a girl already?
No, you did. Sarah. She as hot as she sounds.
Elsewhere, Ethan asks his men for an update.
I want the name and location of the man who captured my son.
Meanwhile, Sarah goes to Jake's apartment for dinner, and Jerry tries to host her.
Sarah.
No worries.
Don't eat the food.
Hoping to make his brother look good and impress Sarah, Jerry makes up heroic and sweet childhood stories about Jake and narrates them in detail. Then, hoping to give the duo some privacy, Jerry takes his brother's wallet and heads out to the local bar. At the NSA, Lou spends a few minutes observing Caleb through the security cameras and takes some blankets for him.
Caleb, how many people have to die before you realize your mother's never coming back?
At the bar, Jerry impersonates Jake and buys some drinks. A few drinks in, to the awe of the crowd who are under the impression that he's an NSA agent, Jerry starts narrating fantastical spy stories that make him out to be a bona fide hero and buys his new friends multiple rounds of drinks. Elsewhere, Ethan continues to search for Jake.
Foley just used his credit card in the last 10 minutes.
Where?
Georgetown Station.
In Jake's apartment, feeling guilty about the lie, Jake confesses that none of Jerry's stories are true.
I guess he just thought that maybe you'd like me better if...
Then, to the utter delight of Jake, Sarah kisses him. However, before the duo can define what this means for their relationship, Jake receives a call from Jerry.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble.
What is wrong with you?
Don't go on parental on me. We got a couple of tickets. It's no big.
At the NSA, the team picks up a strange call and manages to decrypt it.
It's about his next target, Jake Foley.
Elsewhere, while angrily walking away, Jerry is abducted.
Whoa, take it easy. What do you say we all go back to the bar and I'm buying?
After decrypting the concerning call, Jake is called to the office.
We've had a communication from a man claiming to be Ethan Fulton.
Desperate to help his brother, Jake follows Lou out to ask her for help.
I'm not gonna let them. He needed me, and I wasn't there for him.
Jake uses his skills to break Caleb out of his cell, and the duo leaves.
You're a man of your word.
Where's my brother? It's gonna be okay.
NSA soon swarms the area and a shootout ensues, which ends up killing Caleb, while Ethan and the rest are arrested. The next day, Lou's boss visits her in her office.
About our policy of never negotiating with terrorists.
Tell them we didn't.
Meanwhile, Jerry prepares to return to school. A few days later, during a seminar at the office, Diane meets an agent named Steve and gets to know him while aboard Jake uses his skill to overhear what's going on in the operations center.
Please don't sue.
My dad is actionable. I'm sure you all have places that you would rather be.
Elsewhere, in Vienna, a man receives a call.
Mr. Lowenstein, about the rug.
On Monday at the office, Jake and Diane catch up.
What did you do?
Oh, I went out to Wolf Trap to see Alicia Keys.
Kyle catches up to Jake and presents him with a new case.
It's actually a next-generation encryption program.
It's kind of like a lock that changes shape whenever you put a key in it.
Kyle then takes Jake to the dungeon.
Yeah, we're on kind of a tight schedule, Si. Whatever you can do.
Kyle and Jake head to the bank to get some information.
Gonna have to cut this short. Official ID's got a hit. Vasily was at the bank.
While Kyle distracts the bank manager with conversation, Jake uses his skill to access the information they need from the computer.
How about you just blink once for yes?
After hours of working hard, Jake figures it out and heads to the lab to see Diane.
Why don't you see a movie?
Suddenly losing interest in going home, Jake spends the whole night working at his desk and finds Vasily.
No, Kyle, I just plugged myself into an electrical outlet for a couple minutes and I'm good to go for the day.
Hey, I was just asking.
The duo suddenly sees Vasily across the street.
$100,000 worth of unmarked non-sequential bills.
Vasily suddenly disappears, forcing the duo to search for him. A few minutes later, Jake finds Vasily, who attacks him.
You all right?
Yeah.
Muttering to himself, Jake returns to his desk and discreetly searches Steve's personnel file to learn as much as he can about him.
Who's that?
I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Later that night, Jake meets Sarah at the fundraising carnival and nervously greets her.
So, what do you want to do first?
Well, let's do the gambling thing.
Well, this is awkward. While the men play a game, Diane and Sarah chat.
When I first met you, I thought there was something between you and Jake.
To Jake's dismay, Steve excels every game they play and wins many dolls for Diane.
Steve's really good. Thanks.
Excited to finally find a game that gives him a chance, Jake uses all his strength and wins a doll for Sarah.
I'll treasure it always.
Before he can even respond, Jake sees Vasily from a distance, apologizes to Sarah, and rushes off to find him.
Hey, Clemens, you done any field work?
Just basic training, why?
Jake chases Vasily around the parking lot but fails to catch him. Then, while Jake is distracted, Vasily comes out of his hiding, attacks him, and holds him at gunpoint. Luckily, Steve comes to the rescue and neutralizes the criminal, who's then taken into custody, where he's interrogated by Kyle.
We don't torture prisoners in this country, no matter how much we might like to.
While on the other side, Diane tends to Jake's wounds.
Only one of us is paying alimony, go figure.
What are you talking about?
Jake then leaves the office to meet with Sarah.
But you don't have to keep coming up with these stories to cover up the fact that you're hesitant or...
Meanwhile, Lou and Kyle meet with La Fortunata.
I
I would recommend getting them well protected. They got deep, deep pockets. It is not going to end with this Vasily character.
Elsewhere, after pouring his heart out to Sarah, Jake nervously waits for her response.
I just asked you to be honest with me, Jake.
Sarah.
Before Jake can even process his breakup, a frantic Kyle arrives to pick him up.
Vasily was hired to retrieve a human subject linked to the nanotechnology.
While chaos ensues at the NSA, Steve takes Diane to a boat docked in Virginia.
Pan out, fan formation. No one fires unless fired upon.
Jake manages to locate the boat and jumps aboard just in time.
You shouldn't be here.
Why don't you tell her why you really want her, huh?
Jake does as asked as the boat starts heading back. He neutralizes Steve, who is later arrested. In the aftermath, Diane and Jake hang out at his apartment. One day, the NSA is assigned to contain a hostage situation, and Jake addresses the captor.
Jake, you're not going to take anyone out. The snipers will be in place in 3 minutes.
Jake then comes up with an idea that he hopes can contain the situation.
Give me the undersecretary, okay?
Concerned that they're running out of time, Jake goes against Kyle's orders and disarms the man.
Yeah, but you think you're something special because you've got powers? No. Well, I got news for you. You're not.
Elsewhere, a general named Wesley is called to the army base.
And I'm giving you a direct order. Disengage that explosive. Now!
At the NSA, still dismayed by the events of the morning, Kyle shares his concern with Lou.
Your boss was the best helicopter driver in the force, and absolutely lethal with a rocket launcher.
Frustrated, Jake goes to the lab and vents to Diane.
You know, I bet he told Lou, Jake's grandstanding. Jake's chewing gum.
Lou then volunteers to train Jake for his toughest assignment yet.
Now, if anybody asks you about your past missions, you go no further than hooah.
After preparing as much as he can, Jake goes to the base, but he's not ready for what awaits him.
You giving me up as your commanding officer. You ever salute me in the open again?
At SatOps, the team prepares to watch on and hold their breath in anticipation.
Welcome to hell.
At the base, Jake uses his special abilities to impress his commanding officer and later discreetly makes a call.
Hey, the nanites aren't gonna burn out or anything, are they?
No.
The soldiers knock Jake out, and to the shock of the general who sees him the next morning, tie him to a tree.
I trust Louise Beckett with my life. I hope that trust hasn't been misplaced.
Kyle then shows up at the base and heads straight to the office. Jake then returns and insults the captain, who punishes him by ordering him to dig holes around the base all night.
Someone could trip and fall into one of these. It's just plain unacceptable.
Later, Jake knocks the soldiers out with the nerve gas, and he and Kyle go through their computers.
You're supposed to impress upon me the fact that I'm so retarded I don't even merit army-grade punishment.
The general arrives at the base and is amused to find the team buried up to their neck.
No 5-mile run today, gentlemen?
Talk about a taste of their own medicine. The team takes Jake to the bar to celebrate.
Hey, everyone gets tested, Gant. No exceptions, nothing personal. Nothing personal.
The captain cuts the wolf logo on Jake's arm. Meanwhile, growing more concerned, Kyle and Lou discuss the case and try to come up with a plan.
We need to get him out of this as soon as possible.
Well, he'll get out as soon as I have the traitor and the bomb.
On the other side, Jake hangs out with his new team.
General Wesley Freewall. Let's give acknowledgement to the man.
Then, Jake follows Lawrence to the bathroom.
Hey, I didn't know she was married. Shut up and keep your hands behind your back.
Despite being tied up, Lawrence ambushes both, kills the general, and takes Kyle hostage.
Can I help you, officer?
He's not an officer.
The captain then beats Kyle up for information.
Now, one of your officers has murdered a general. An agent of our government is bleeding on this floor.
Using Kyle's phone, Jake then discreetly sends a message to the NSA informing them about the general's death and Kyle's severe wounds.
Scramble a covert team, have a chopper meet me at the helipad and tell them to stow an extra set of body armor.
The NSA soon swarms the area and neutralizes the situation. Later, Jake goes to the hospital to visit Kyle. A couple of days later, an emergency board of inquiry is announced at the NSA, and he heads out wondering what has caused the unprecedented decision.
I guess it all started when I got an urgent phone call from my immediate superior, Agent Duarte.
A few weeks earlier, while Kyle and Jake enjoy themselves on a double date, they are called into SatOps.
This is the deadliest V-series nerve agent on the planet.
Hoping to diffuse the tension, Lou's inquiry is momentarily paused, and they turn the board's attention to Kyle.
He's a member of our intelligence community being trained for advanced field work. He goes on missions.
Kyle and Jake follow the couple, and after chasing them for a few minutes, Jake catches them.
We found all 3 vials in their apartment.
Muy bien. Ya te lo puedes llevar.
That night, Jake goes out to a local bar and meets a woman.
That you did not know that she was an enemy in possession of a stolen weapon of mass destruction.
Meanwhile, Kyle questions the couple and comes to an uncomfortable realization.
We do have audio feed from the break-in.
Recognizing the sound and shocked out of his mind, Jake calls Kyle.
I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Oh, it's too late.
No, Jake.
A fight ensues between Jake and Angela, and both defend themselves well.
Don't shoot!
You don't shoot!
Put down your gun!
You put it down!
Angela knocks Kyle out and flees. Moments later, Kyle reaches the room and is concerned to find it empty. Elsewhere, unaware that Jake is clinging to the undercarriage of her car, Angela calls her buyer.
Don't worry, I'll be there.
At the inquiry, Valerie interrupts to pose a question.
Agent Foley, just tell us what happened next.
Jake then continues the story and narrates it in detail.
Jessica just
Graduated from Penn. She was a speech therapy major. She already had a job lined up.
Jake is once again interrupted and warned never to mention the gas and will be charged with treason otherwise.
That exact same gas was used to kill Angela Hamilton's younger sister.
In the present, while waiting outside, Jake uses his special skills to hear what's being said.
Just need the other 2 vials and we have a deal.
As chaos ensues, Jake helps Angela, gives her a mask, and the duo soon rush out.
And did you feel at any time that you lost control?
General Garcia learns that General Alonso has been killed and sends out men to search for Jake.
Once we became aware of the deaths in Santa Costa, I dispatched Agent Duarte to extract him.
Then, General Alonso shows up at the scene with his men.
I am not afraid to die.
We'll see about that.
While Angela is hauled away, Kyle talks to the general.
Okay, Lou had to pull strings just to get you out alive. No, she trusted me, damn it!
Annoyed out of his mind, Jake issues an ultimatum.
Hand Angela Hamilton over to a government with an abominable human rights record.
Relieved, the team leaves the room counting their lucky stars.
You promoted her. If she fails, so will you.
While the board stays behind to discuss the situation among themselves.
Jake Foley is another matter. Did you see the way he stood up to us?
Later, Angela is released, sent back home, and is welcomed by Jake. No longer trusting the sanctity of their workplace, since the inquiry, everyone gathers at the lab and reads out a scripted conversation.
Not a spy, okay? You guys are the spies.
Then, shocking news echoes around the world.
Patriarch of the royal family of Kembu, Namir, issued this statement early this morning.
Jake is then called to Lou's office.
She has an assignment for you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would think so, right? Disappointed to learn that the son is at a university, Jake heads to his dorm.
Where that?
The Crown Prince of Tajir didn't think it was so bad.
Jake reluctantly goes to change into the tracksuit Malik gave him.
Tracy, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to move. Or what?
Jake jumps down from the building, runs across the compound, and catches up to Malik just in time.
You ever seen Brain?
No. It's nasty.
At the NSA, the team carefully follows the news.
This guy's not exactly thrilled to have me around. Now, you want me spying on him?
While watching the game, Jake tries to access Malik's phone but is soon interrupted.
Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner are gonna toss it in or keep playing. Come on.
As Jake feared, the game goes horribly wrong.
I'm doing my best.
Are you? Because you're getting blown out right now.
Determined to prove himself, Jake decides to use his special skills and, to the surprise of everyone, completely dominates the game.
You just got schooled by Kevin Costner. That's what I'm talking about.
Later, as they return to the dorm, Jake and Malik bond over the game.
It's my destiny. Can't change that.
While Jake leaves with Malik's pocket-sized computer, he stole, unbeknownst to him, an assassin surveys Malik's dorm from outside. A few minutes later, while Jake uploads the information from the computer to the NSA, he gets a message from Agent Wilson.
Jake, there's a breach in dormitory security. Someone just entered through an emergency exit.
Gun drawn, Jake cautiously leaves his room to find the perpetrator before he can get to Malik. Hearing some noise coming from Malik's room, Jake barges in and is shocked to find Malik with his girlfriend, Anna.
Tell me about yourself, Jake. Do you know karate, jiu-jitsu, kung fu?
Nicely played, Malik. Jake and Malik head out to class.
I can marry anyone I want. As long as she's another royal from Kimball.
Then Jake receives a disappointing call from Kyle.
Jake, we're getting a lot of pressure from above.
Kembu is our biggest oil supplier in the region.
In class, Jake waits until Malik goes down to the blackboard to answer a question and downloads some information from his laptop. He then discreetly hands this to Agent Wilson in the hallway.
I just saw your bodyguard hand off something to a woman I can only assume was another NSA agent.
At the NSA, Kyle reviews the information Jake had sent and discusses it with Lou.
The last words of Lord Usagi in feudal Japan just before he was...
Meanwhile, at the party, Jake struggles to gain entry into Malik's birthday party.
I'm sending backup. Get to the prince. Now.
Jake rushes past the crowd, reaches Malik just as the assassin proceeds to shoot him and subdues him. Moments later, the NSA swarms the building, arrests the assassin, and makes sure that everyone's all right.
Stairwells?
We're green.
I want a man on every rooftop.
Yeah.
At the NSA, Jake is debriefed by Lou and Kyle.
Protecting him. Prince is going to have to make his own arrangements.
Outraged, Jake storms out of the office and runs into Valerie.
Excellent work tonight.
Prince Malik won't be so lucky the next time.
Jake heads to Malik's dorm at the university to give him the bad news and tries to comfort him.
Thank you, Jake. For what? I didn't do anything.
You did all you could.
Frustrated by everything, Jake returns to the NSA, heads to the lab, and vents to Diane.
I just think you need to make peace with it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it.
Jake then approaches Kyle to tell him his decision.
Either way around it. Hey, thanks for everything you taught me.
Jake leaves the office and goes to see Kyle's contact.
How do we do this?
We don't do anything.
Next morning, while the hierarchy watches on, a terrified Diane approaches Lou.
You're late for your morning workout.
Hoping to understand what's going on, Kyle pulls Jake aside to talk to him.
The guy who was after the prince gave her up. Her real name is Ayana.
Desperate to help Malik, Jake and Kyle rush to see Earl.
You're not the only one who knows how to make people disappear.
Jake and Kyle drive like maniacs to reach Malik's apartment, hoping they are not too late.
I feel like a coward.
You're not a coward.
Taking Jake's advice into account, Malik decides to fulfill his destiny by stepping up for his country. One morning, Jake and a group of agents go out to surveil a former KGB agent named Elena.
She's heading towards the car. She's gonna bolt.
Jake, stay put.
Despite Jake's super speed, Elena gets to her car quickly and manages to drive away from the area. As SatOps, annoyed by this outcome, Lou scolds Jake.
Is it so hard for you to do what we tell you?
Yeah, when you're telling me 15 different things, yeah.
Jake and Kyle head to Richard's house and introduce themselves.
Sir, would you please put that away?
Dick invites the duo inside and hears them out.
Well, first I think you should find her and then kill her.
Dick then accompanies Kyle and Jake as they head back to the NSA.
Can we move forward, please?
Copy that, sir.
Dick then leads Jake to a local car dealership.
You just spent almost every penny in our expense account on a car?
The duo once again speeds to Atlantic City.
Romanov has a big line of credit, so I'm guessing he's a high roller.
Jake goes through the pictures of the Russian agents on his phone and recognizes one.
Wait for him to make a bet. And when he does, say this to him.
At the NSA, Kyle finds more information.
My guess is whatever Dankova has planned, Liam wasn't going along.
Offended by this, the Russians proceed to beat Jake, while Dick runs off with a cocktail waitress.
I need a shoot-to-kill order.
What?
Dick.
Dick then takes Jake's phone and throws it out the window.
Apologies for the note. These Russians, they got no sense of humor.
You tried to get me killed.
What do you mean, Dick? Instead of opening the trunk, Dick hits and knocks Jake out and speeds away to meet with Elena.
Throw your weapon out of the car. Then step out.
Dick opens the trunk of his car to reveal the cocktail waitress, hands her over to Elena's men, takes a suitcase full of cash as his payment, and leaves. The next day, Jake goes to the lab to meet with Diane, who quickly checks up on him.
I have a feeling he knew exactly what he was doing every step of the way.
Before they can discuss this any further, Jake and Diane are called to SatOps and head there.
Look, I don't know what kind of mind game you're running, but you've got some explaining to do.
Richard follows Diane and Jake to the lab, where Diane draws some blood to test.
If you'd gone by the book, none of this would have happened.
I'm not ready to take lessons from you just yet.
Later, Diane updates Jake about the result of the DNA test.
And we don't have much time. Look, I'm sorry you were duped, son.
A moment later, Lou barges into the room with an announcement.
We believe these people plan to detonate a dirty bomb in D.C. tonight at midnight. Can you enhance it further and ID the plane?
As per Lou's orders, Jake, Kyle, and Richard drive together. And as they follow the rest of the agents who are on their way to the target, Jake receives a call.
I just got the preliminary result on that DNA.
Hang on to something.
Jake drives to Dick's house and sees the Mustang in the parking lot.
I'm going in.
No, wait!
You know you can't execute someone without an order. In your case, I think I could make an exception.
Well done, Jake. After getting the location of Elena's hangar from Dick, Kyle updates Lou and speeds there with Richard and Jake.
You're too old for this, Lenotchka.
They offer you more money.
Well, don't I wish?
The next morning, Jake goes to see Lou in her office.
There are people upstairs who don't like the way you do things.
But I am not like all your other agents.
Deeply sympathizing with Richard, who has endured so much and lost himself for his country, Jake spends the afternoon keeping him company and having fun with him at his house. One day, Jake wakes up with no memory of where he is or how he got there and freaks out.
It's all right. Look, it's all right.
A day earlier, Jake gets to work and heads to the lab to see Diane.
4 feet? It's incredible. Deserve more credit.
Reluctantly, Jake goes to see Dr. Mark for his psychiatric review.
Well, you're writing something down. What does it say?
The session is interrupted when Jake gets a call and rushes out to SatOps.
We've been trying, but it's been programmed to accelerate and absorb.
Jake goes over the printed out code and suddenly realizes who's behind the attack.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Why not?
Because he's in jail.
Kyle, Lou, and Jake head to the Federal Correctional Institute in Cumberland, Maryland, where Jake questions Dumont.
Jake, my favorite government droid. You don't call, you don't write.
As per Lou's orders, Mark gives Dumont a lie detector test.
I hacked into the Federal Reserve and I stole $2 million.
Kyle, Jake, and a team of agents take Dumont Drive to the storage area.
Lord Almighty, free at last.
Meanwhile, Valerie goes to SatOps to speak to Lou.
If you hadn't noticed, we're running out of time. Quickly.
Jake and Dumont go into the storage unit, but as Jake turns on the light, the door shuts down, which causes enough distraction for Dumont to attack Agent Levy until Jake holds him at gunpoint. While Kyle updates Lou and orders his men to try and force the door open, Jake tries to get control of the situation from inside.
Sweet dreams.
Vanessa remotely activates their system, which releases an electromagnetic surge and knocks Jake out. Dumont then frees himself from the handcuffs and signals Vanessa that it's now time to proceed to the next phase of their master plan. Meanwhile, at the NSA, Diane notices something alarming and updates Lou.
Almost in.
Suddenly, to the shock of everyone, the timer disappears from the SatOps screens.
Nothing at all. Database is secure. The virus was just a decoy.
The next day, Jake wakes up at a farmhouse, confused out of his mind.
I'm your best friend, bro.
At the NSA, the team tries to understand what happened and find a lead.
Explain to me how a prisoner with no access to computers was able to hack into our system.
At the farmhouse, Vanessa cooks dinner, and the trio shares a pleasant dinner.
So we got married in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the best man.
At the NSA, Lou asks Mark for information and is concerned by what she hears.
I'm not entirely sure that he ever opened up completely.
At the farmhouse, the trio continues enjoying their dinner, nostalgically looking back on made-up memories.
Screwed you up so bad they left you without your memory. We risked our lives to rescue you.
Vanessa then invites Jake to dance with her, and the two step away from the table, where Dumont struggles to control his rage and jealousy. After a few minutes of dancing, the duo excuse themselves and retire for the night. A moment later, Mark walks in and calmly addresses Dumont.
Me, I would have just chopped off his arms and legs and stuck him in a box.
Hoping for privacy, Dumont escorts Mark to the basement.
I don't know, maybe it's because the NSA is breathing down my neck.
The next morning, having spent a romantic night with Vanessa, hoping to contribute, Jake wakes up early and goes out to chop some wood.
This is nice.
Yeah, it's apple cider. It's good.
I meant this.
Jake goes out for a run and utterly enjoys the fresh air and peaceful quiet and has fun.
He must be in love.
He is.
Elsewhere, Kyle goes to the prison to supervise the search of Dumont's cell.
Dumont was operating his own black market for the guards in the cell block. Day trading, tax...
That evening, Jake spends time inspecting a picture of him and Vanessa and realizes something unsettling.
Don't even bother. It's not something you could notice with the naked eye.
At the NSA, Kyle barges into Mark's office to question him.
You only evaluated Dumont once.
At the farmhouse, Jake, who has seriously started doubting everything he's been told in the last couple of days, goes downstairs with Vanessa and takes Dumont by surprise.
What are you doing down here with my blood, Dumont? I knew you were too stupid to pull this off!
At the NSA, Kyle gets an address from Mark and rushes to learn more about it. At the house, Vanessa starts to feel the impact of the nanites immediately.
Oh, I don't have to do what you or anyone else.
However, Vanessa suddenly starts to tremble and passes out with silver trickling from her eyes, nose, and mouth.
We're gonna have to keep working on this together, bro. I'm gonna need some more blood.
Dumont then starts chasing Jake, who, despite being shot a couple of times, runs for his life and disappears in the woods, with Dumont in tow. A few minutes later, the NSA arrives on the scene and raids the house. As the agents head to the basement, they find the still unconscious Vanessa and are shocked when she suddenly sits up, gasping for air. In the woods, Jake carefully hides, ambushes Dumont, who's still searching for him, and seeing the team from the NSA, whom he still believes are his enemy, continues running until Kyle catches up with him on a bridge.
We gotta get you to a doctor. You taking me back to the NSA?
As more officers surround the bridge, Jake pushes Kyle to the ground and, to the horror of the agent, throws himself into the freezing river.
Jake Foley refused to comply with and then assaulted his immediate superior officer.
Do you really believe that, Lou? Elsewhere, in the woods, Jake uses the nanites to heal his wounds and, overwhelmed by everything, takes off into the wilderness. 10 days later, at the NSA, Kyle opts to take desperate measures to find Jake.
Are you sure you want to risk some Barney Fife opening up his .38 on Jake just to get a federal collar in his jacket?
Elsewhere, outside of Philadelphia, struggling to survive without his memory and money, Jake breaks a parking meter, like he's been doing in the last few days, to steal some quarters and takes a moment to figure out his next move. After seeing people going into a nearby club and following them inside,
Hey, what's in there? Don't worry. Can't afford it.
Mick quickly starts beating up Jake, who struggles to keep up and defend himself. However, after a few minutes, Jake manages to use the help of the nanites, and to the shock of the crowd and the owner Caesar, he knocks Mick out in a single punch.
Need a job, boy?
Jake starts his new work soon and easily beats men every evening. At the NSA, a desperate Lou and Kai.E for some information.
Do you have an explanation for his behavior?
Yes, I do. I think that he's having some kind of episode.
Did you not pick up that he didn't recognize you at all, Kyle? As soon as the duo leaves, Diane takes out her second discrete monitor device and inspects it with Fran. Elsewhere, as he leaves work one morning, Jake approaches Caesar and waits to be paid.
I got 5 more in the back. Can't move him to save my life.
Using his skill, Jake quickly fixes the machine and impresses his boss. Jake then heads to his shabby apartment and, using the laptop he had just purchased, reviews his personnel file from the NSA and is gutted by what he sees.
Larceny, armed robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault.
Overwhelmed by everything, Diane steps out and cries her eyes out. Desperate for some good news, she checks her secret device and is utterly relieved to find a 100% location match. Diane heads out to the club and is shocked to see Jake engaged in a brutal fight. Afterwards, Diane suppresses her shock and subtly follows Jake to a local coffee shop. There, Diane takes a few minutes to quietly observe him and is distressed to note that the withdrawn, lonely man is nothing like the Jake she knew. Then, summoning her courage and cautious not to scare him away, Diane tries to make small talk, which fails to even get Jake to look up and acknowledge her.
So I will pay cash for that.
Overhearing this conversation and sympathizing with Diane, Jake quietly pays for her and proceeds to walk out of the coffee shop.
Anyway, I will pay you back for this, I promise.
Suddenly, through his special skill, Jake hears a man outside talking to his boss on the phone and realizes he's under surveillance.
They're still talking. No, I think you just met her tonight.
As soon as Jake leaves the table, a nervous Diane checks the device and learns that the brain scan is almost complete. Outside, Jake ambushes the man, demanding who he's working for.
Worked some pretty impressive magic on my register. Maybe you ought to take a look at this.
At the NSA, Kyle gives Lou an update on the case.
Well, she checked in, but nobody's seen her. All of her contact numbers are down. I think she's up to something.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the building, Fran receives a call from Diane.
Where is she, Fran? And don't even think about lying.
The next evening, while fighting at the club, Jake sees Diane watching him from the crowd and storms off in anger.
Go, you don't belong here.
Yeah, neither do you.
You're wrong.
Am I?
The next morning, Diane wakes up and finds Jake watching her.
There are things you need to know about me.
Before Diane can tell him anything, Jake hears a man approaching his apartment from outside and rushes to open the door and speak to him.
Look, if you knew I was going to turn you down, why'd you send Chewie to come get me?
And what I'm trying to offer you, something as tangible as this spot right here.
Meanwhile, Diane finally figures out the cause of Jake's amnesia and calls Fran from her hotel room.
Now I know where you are and I'm sending a team and I don't want you to get in the way. Do you understand?
Elsewhere, Jake leaves the club, with Caesar's words still ringing in his mind, comes up with a way to get Diane out of her hotel room, which he breaks into to learn more about her and is furious to find his NSA files.
You want to get your nanites back?
Jake leaves the hotel and rushes out to meet Caesar.
$2 million. I'm in.
At the hotel, not knowing what else to do, Diane calls the NSA.
You need to be here. Or your team would...
Caesar shares his plan with his men and prepares for the heist.
After that, they're going to be moved to Federal Bay.
How are we getting in?
Jake uses his skills to set off the alarm and neutralizes Caesar and his men.
Put the gun down, Jake.
Kyle.
Do you know who you are?
As Jake and the security guards exit, the NSA meets them outside.
Any casualties?
No. Thanks to him. He saved our lives.
Later in the lab, Jake reads his file with fascination and prepares for the shot.
EMP attack on this building led to the recovery of a stolen nuclear weapon.
As soon as he gets the shot, Jake's memories come flooding back to him, and he smiles as he finally realizes who he is. A couple of days later, Jake gets to work early and visits Diane at the lab.
Hey, first of all, have you even bothered looking at the manual?
Jake heads to SatOps and misunderstands a conversation he picks up on and becomes delighted.
Agent Foley's enhancement was an accident. He was neither trained nor prepared for it.
Meanwhile, in a prison camp in Serbia, an American prisoner of war tries to escape his captors, but is soon captured, falls to his knees, and looks up at the sky, seemingly praying. At the NSA, a disappointed Jake approaches Kyle and Lou.
I wasn't spying. I was eavesdropping, which is a totally different look.
Then, as Lou and Kyle take Ben aside to get him up to speed, desperately needing to talk to him in private, Diane follows Jake into the men's bathroom.
So I think that you need to do something about the new guy.
Before Jake can answer the question, the duo is interrupted by Kyle, who barges in to drag Jake to SatOps.
I think that it's NRO.
That's right. It's Keyhole Satellite.
Lou walks away haunted by the memories of her last mission with Alex in Belgrade, Serbia.
It was an ambush. Myers is dead.
What about Hernandez and Miller?
They're still inside.
In the present, Kyle goes to Lou's office to check on her and finds her reviewing Alex's file.
Everyone thought he was dead, Lou.
Yeah.
In SatOps, the team gathers around to come up with a rescue plan and bounce ideas off one another.
You can open the cage doors in the main courtyard? Yeah, I could get him out of there through one of these tunnels. Here.
During the mission, the plan goes without a hitch, and Jake hands Alex off to Ben.
You take him to the truck, I'll hold him off.
No, you take him. I'll cover you.
Then, while Jake fights off soldiers, a grenade explodes in the tunnel and knocks him out.
Out of here. I need morphine, ASAP, and an open line.
Later, hoping to check on her, Ben visits Diane at the lab.
I'm up to my elbows in morphine. Don't worry, it's not for me.
Then, once Ben leaves, to the shock of Diane, a series of spooky events take place.
Hello? Oh.
Freaked out, Diane goes to the hospital to visit Jake.
Go and try not to be crazy anymore.
At the NSA, Jennifer visits Lou in her office.
I guess we'll never really know whether you did everything you could to save him or not.
The conversation once again takes Lou back to 1998, to a mission in Belgrade.
I want a unit on the stairs. 200 hours, everybody moves in.
No longer able to dismiss the mysterious occurrences, Diane shares her theory with Kyle and Lou.
You think Jake is doing this?
I think that he's trying to use his interface abilities to communicate with us.
To the sheer horror of Lou, a beam from the retinal scan drills a hole through Ben's head and kills him instantly. In the aftermath, the rest of the team rushes to the hospital to find out what happened.
Once the amplifiers kicked in, that kind of light's no longer biometric.
What is it?
Infrared.
Meanwhile, down the hall, Jennifer tries to talk some sense into her husband.
I don't care what they say. This place is not safe.
Now freaked out more than ever, Lou reconsiders Diane's theory and, together with Kyle, discusses it with her.
There's something that I've been working on. There's a drug called naloxone. It's an opiate antagonist.
Unbeknownst to anyone, Alex breaks into Lou's office, looks around, and is taken back down memory lane to their assignment in Vienna in 1997.
I know a way to make it more perfect. I want us to go away together.
How? How would that be any different? Then Alex proceeds to leave, and when he gets into the elevator, it drops 6 stories. Unaware of this development, Kyle, Lou, and Diane head to the hospital and are alarmed to find Valerie there.
Your agent is a threat to the lives of everyone in this building.
Then, just as the doctor proceeds to call the time of death, the room goes dark and mayhem ensues.
Whatever he's got to say, you better say it now.
Then, to the shock of everyone, SatOps suddenly goes down.
We need to give him a chance.
You've said enough for one day.
After a brutal fight, with the help of Jake, who has started to heal himself, Lou neutralizes Alex.
Yeah, well, they pretty much were.
Yeah, but not physically, he was in my head.
Despite his significant improvement, Jake is kept at the hospital for close monitoring.
How are you feeling?
Free. Sore, but free.
Once she's alone, Lou is suddenly taken back in memory to the time she met Alex in a Georgetown bar in 1994. One evening, while on duty to protect an influential man named Dr. Nanda, they are shocked by the number of fans awaiting his arrival.
Nanda sang. He's like the Nelson Mandela of East Asia. Can you believe it? I mean,
Jake suddenly spots a gun from across the street and alerts everyone.
He's on the northwest face of the Greenwalk building.
Kyle catches up with the assassin on the roof, but despite using his skills to fight him off, he's overpowered and left barely hanging by the man, who quickly flees the area.
Where'd he go? Kyle, little help?
Then Jake is introduced to Dr. Nanda.
We want to make sure that this room and the immediate vicinity are secure. It won't affect your speech for tomorrow.
Then Valerie goes to prison to visit Dumont.
That scar seems to be healing rather unevenly.
What do you want? You know, you're really quite attractive. You'd probably look good without all that makeup on, too.
Ugh, he's worse than I thought. At the NSA, the team gathers in SatOps to discuss the case.
Dr. Sang's speech to the IRC tomorrow could finally solidify U.S. support for his movement.
Jake concentrates and digitizes the image in his head, but it doesn't go as he hoped.
Do you mind if I work with Diane on this? Maybe there's a way we can download what I'm seeing.
Then, Diane is excited out of her mind to get a call from Dr. Nanda asking to meet with her, and she rushes out of the lab. Using this opportunity, Jake accesses Diane's computer and downloads the beta code she's been developing for nanites. Jake rushes to his apartment and uploads the upgrade. He then tests it, and is delighted to see that he can now produce the assassin's picture on the computer. Congratulating himself on his feat, Jake sends the picture to Lou, but he's soon hit by a crippling pain and passes out. At the NSA, the team receives Jake's email and reviews it.
Enlarge and enhance the right side of his neck. He's Yakuza.
A few minutes later, Jake wakes up in his apartment, and soon the assassin arrives.
You are a man of honor. I am now. Humbly ask you to take my life.
Elsewhere, an excited Diane meets with Dr. Nanda.
You're disgusting. You're a Nobel Prize winner.
At Jake's apartment, a brutal fight ensues between Jake and Shinju, who refuses to be taken into custody.
You want me to kill you, but you don't want me to arrest you?
Yes. The dishonor would be too great.
At the NSA, Lou calls in La Fortunata and asks him for help identifying the mark.
Are you saying that they were killed by...
No.
No, of course I'm not, because then you would know that they existed.
Meanwhile, Jake and Shinju continue hanging out at the apartment.
Never had any alcohol before, huh?
No. No alcohol.
Terrified by what she learned, Lou storms into Jake's apartment with her team. At the hotel, Kyle confronts Dr. Nanda.
The things I've done to survive and to make myself heard, I may not be a very nice human being.
Elsewhere, with Jake by his side, Shinju is taken to SatOps.
Nanda-san isn't going to live to make the speech.
He will if you help us.
On the other side of the city, Valerie returns to the prison to visit Dumont. Why do you keep going back? Later, Diane finds out what Jake had done and becomes furious.
Jake, your ego is going to turn you into a vegetable.
The next morning, at the auditorium, while Dr. Nanda practices his speech in front of the agents, Lou spots a shadow of a gun and alerts everyone. Chaos ensues as everyone tries to get Dr. Nanda to safety. As Shinju and Jake then spot the second assassin, Yuki impersonating an agent, and as they follow her, Jake is forced to use the nanites to unlock the door, which turns him blind.
Give me your gun. No. Give it to me!
Jake suddenly shuts off the power, turning the room completely dark, identifies Yuki through her racing heartbeat, and neutralizes her by pinning her to the wall. Later, Dr. Nanda delivers his speech to his adoring fans. At the lab, Diane examines Jake, looking to identify if there are lingering effects.
I'm sorry about what happened with Dr. Sang.
Yeah, me too.
After everything settles down, Jake visits Shinju and gives him some good news.
Apprentice sushi chef at a hip new restaurant in Spokane, Washington.
If you ever need it, my life is in your hands.
Later, Valerie receives shocking news.
The brain injuries are so severe he can barely recognize his own children.
That's a shame.
What do you want?
The same exact thing you do.
Elsewhere, Yuki escapes from her prison escort car, comes to the NSA, and proceeds to ambush Jake, who's forced to shoot and kill her in self-defense.
Situation is resolved. South parking lot by my car.
Jake then remains frozen for the next few minutes, staring at Yuki's lifeless body with regret and sadness, and wondering if there was any other way he could have handled the matter.